we'll be with you all along. The Lotus Jawns, yeah, sometimes we get it wrong. That's a beauty and a lesson. Keep it going, you belong. So you are a powerful Jawn. You are a powerful Jawn.
All right, you guys, welcome back to our, I think, third episode. Is this fourth? Might be fifth. Whatever episode number this is. Welcome back to Lotus Jawns. We have truly missed you. This episode, we're going to discuss relationships. Dun dun dun. We kind of hashed over it with each other just to debate on how candid we want to be in real life. So we're going to do our best because we realize that there is, in fact, the good, the bad, and the takeaway from most relationships. So to protect the identities of all those parties involved, past, present, and future, we won't be naming names. I might use code words, code phrases, or numbers to represent the humans that I've interacted with. It's a very short list of humans because I don't trust people. You know, just had to put that out there. But we realized that being at this age of 32 and some change, and going through the evolution of discovering who you are as a person, encountering and accepting other people into our small circle, you know, for those that we love and anticipate to grow into, you know, partnership, we've got some battle scars. And from journeying through this, we realized that sharing those scars and those learning experiences might be helpful to you all. So, as always, we're going to start this off with an affirmation. We realize that this takeaway is something that you all like. So we're going to do this different because we've learned from practicing, that it sounds different if we do it as a collective and kind of as an individual. You know, we are apart together.
Yep.
So I'm going to start off. Get ready. Ready?
Got it.
Positive affirmation, positive deep breath. We got this. Y'all got this? Got this. Okay. I ask the universe
To strengthen the love I have for myself.
so that I can be a greater partner to others.
I am a powerful Jawn.
All right, ladies. So let's get this thing started. I'm not sure that I'm going to go first.
So how we going to kick it off?
I'm not sure, but this is going to be a little different because we're going to start this like a conversation. So let's start off with the good.
Yeah.
So the good. I'll lead with a good. So what I've learned in relationships is the joy of like finding a partner and thinking that the Disney movies are going to manifest is always really exciting. You know, I've always dreamed of being the princesses. The Little Mermaid was my favorite. I'll say right after that was probably Sleeping. No, probably Belle. You know, and now maybe Princess Jasmine and then Belle. But all in all, I feel like from being a youngster, being raised in a way where my mom always told us that the Sultan of Brunei was going to knock on the door and marry each of us. She said that like being funny, but I did always think that Prince Charming was going to arrive and I wasn't going to have to worry about it. I reflect back on that now and maybe I should have had an arranged marriage. It would have been easier. I just like, here's your husband. Thank you. You know, I didn't have to look for you at all. I've been waiting my whole life. Thank you, Prince Charming. Yes, but that's my good. I appreciate and love the fact that you can go through life in the pursuit of a partner that might be worthy of sharing your happily ever after with. So that's the good of a relationship. I can add some salt to it, but we're going to go with good. So I'll pass it on. I might jump in with other goods.
I feel like the good that I've experienced in a relationship is getting to have companionship and share your life and experiences with somebody else on an intimate level. I mean, relationships change over time, but it's just that initial connection is something that I feel like
butterfly feeling.
Yeah, like I feel like even as your relationships progress, like you always are trying to recenter, or you would like to recenter and always get back to that beginning, that initial contact, that coming together and trying to build something together, the togetherness of it. I mean, you know, in the beginning, or like when you're making a connection with somebody and you're trying to share your life with them or your experiences, you want to share everything. Like you want to share every little piece. I mean, I couldn't even taste a new fruit without saying I had to cut a sliver off and I have to save this because maybe he'll like it too, or something like that. So I feel like that's the good in it, connecting with somebody else on an intimate level and sharing those corners of yourself that you can't necessarily share with other people that you have
Right.
relationships with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
It does. It
Yeah.
does. If you're trying to show them everything, listen, I have these super cool skills that I'm working on.
Mm.
Let me show you. Yes.
Yeah. I feel like for me, and I heard someone else talking about this, I've come to this like recently. I feel like relationships make you bump up who you are.
Yes.
Like they make you kind of like stand up and be the best you can be, because you can't really come to the table with anything else when you're sharing your life with somebody else. They deserve the best you, and you deserve the best you. So,
That's true, because you
That's-
just bathe more, put on more perfume.
yeah, you
do a
just
little
like,
Lotion in
you
a
know what
different
I mean?
way.
Like,
Yeah, like let me
and not
lotion
even
all
that,
of
like even your best emotional self, you deserve to be like happy and healthy, and your partner deserves to like have that with you.
And it's kind of like a motivation.
Yeah.
Like you said, bump yourself up in those different areas.
Yeah.
Not that you can't self-motivate, but it's a different special type of motivation.
Right,
It
right.
is.
So,
Yeah, because you want them to have a happy life, and you
Yeah.
want to have a happy life, and you got to be your best self for that.
So I asked a question. 'Cause
What's
you posed
up?
a good point, and it's making me think. Is that setting us up? Because eventually, you know, with the ebbs and flows in relationship, like yes, you put your
I
best
think
foot
I know where
forward.
you're going.
Like I love you so much, and I'm going to wear a pretty dress like this every
Mm-hmm.
day that I see you. You know, I'm going to make sure that I line my eyes, which I do, even when I'm sleeping, because I'm
I
afraid
don't
that if
mean
there's a
that.
fire,
in
they
a-
won't.
yeah, I don't know.
You know, is
yeah.
that setting yourself up? Because us as people, and I say this to my counterparts who are both married to other humans, it's like, does that kind of set you up? Because your partner is always expecting this polished version of yourself, when secretly you might not always have a spectacular, sparkling day.
Yeah. When I say that, I don't mean that in a physical form.
What do you mean?
I mean that emotionally, spiritually, like, and maybe even physically, because you should
I mean,
be
that's
like
important
physically healthy too.
Yeah.
But I mean it like that, being like a healthy person for your partner, because it's like if you're like sad all the time, it's gonna make your partner sad, or if you're like hyper all the time, it's gonna make your partner hyper, or like it just anything.
Or
like
it might trigger stress.
Unless
Yeah.
they're into it.
you want to be your best self, and for yourself, so you can feel good.
I don't
like,
think it's a setup. I think that.
yeah, I don't think it's a setup. I think it's a step up.
Well done,
Oh, I
sis.
like
Thank
that.
you.
You're welcome.
I like that. But I feel like in the beginning of courtship, if that thing, I feel like that's just a part of our humanness. If that didn't happen, I don't see many people repopulating this earth. Like, I don't know.
You got to sparkle.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to be bringing me pebbles or, like, gifts and shit, at least you can yourself shine. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Come on, sis. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah. So, like you said, I don't think it's just tied specifically and exclusively to the physical aspects of it, of the people involved, but yeah.
Even though that is nice.
Yeah, I do feel
When
like
you
I
keep
have
yourself
like a-
together, that's
yeah,
very
I
nice.
do feel like I have like what I say. I feel like I have the perfect resume.
Yeah.
You know, as far as like, yes, my name is Matt or Leek, and these are the things that I come with. You know, I can cook, I can clean, I look nice on most days. You know, I have a specific toothbrush that I brush my teeth with, along with a certain brand of toothpaste, so that my teeth will always shine like this. You know, I'm pretty good with coordinating my life. Sometimes I make the bed. Generally, out of 7 days, 5 it will be done. Especially if we're spending quality time together. You know, there may be dishes in the sink 2 out of the 7 days, but you know, I feel like there's a list. On top of being a responsible adult, having a job, car, driver's license. I'm good with kids and pets.
Well,
you know,
what
I feel
would
like
make you say that?
that comes with that.
What kind of like sparked the idea or make you would say that? Do you think that it would be a setup? Is it
Because I realized like, and I guess I feel like as I'm evolving and learning myself, I realized that, of course, at the beginning of a courtship or a relationship, you always put your best foot forward. And looking at the princess values that I've been raised in, like I was raised in a very strict household that had very conservative views of what it looked like to be a woman, and also what it looked like to be a wife and a partner. So it's like you always had to keep a layer of, you know, like TV version of wife and mom. You know, and I almost feel like as I've evolved into who I am as a person, you know, I feel like I've been at times self-critical of how I present, not just how I look and smell, but it's like I almost feel like I have to be a certain presentation. And that's really delusional the longer that I've, you know, the longer that I've been, you know, in these adult years and interacted with other people, because I realized that there are some men or some partners that I've had that are really interested in seeing the sloppy lazy me with curlers in my hair on a Sunday morning.
Right.
It's like, let me see you loose. Nobody gets to see that. Sorry. Nope. I will wake up 15 minutes before you do, go in the bathroom, brush my teeth, fluff my hair, lay back down like I never got up.
Oh
Yep.
my God,
Damn.
girl.
Whitley
It's
did it.
Instagram
Listen,
polished.
okay, it is not completely, but just slightly. But it's like
I wish
I
I,
don't
felt
know.
like doing that.
I feel like I've consistently done
Sometimes.
that in my short span of relationships. I haven't had a long laundry list, and I have to say that as like hashtag I'm not the expert, but I can say that being groomed in a way that a woman is supposed to present herself as such, I'm not really good with being that layer of vulnerable au natural. Like,
Well, I just
not
feel
all the
like-
time. I'll be judging myself.
Like, I wouldn't say it's a setup. I feel like it's a good reference point. And I feel like that's why we do those things. Like I said, in our humanness, because you have to have some type of reference because things change. Like, I've had 3 children and life looks completely different between the coming of all of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, me getting up and looking polished after having a newborn looked a lot different than it did in the beginning. It was nice to have a reference point, but then, like,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it might be a setup even to think like that. Because your partner wants to see all of you organically.
or they should be willing.
Yeah,
to
definitely.
So should you, like, splash a couple days of, like, curlers in the beginning to make it look normal?
I just feel like if
I
you
don't
just
know. I get comfortable real quick.
fast, I feel like if you just, like you said, like kind of like organically and authentically just be yourself, it's gonna like
Yeah.
they'll come to know it. With
I'll
time.
more so be nervous, but I'll definitely be being myself. I can't help it.
Yeah, myself is really, like, uptight.
Yeah, like I can't. Oh
I'm really
no.
uptight. I just need you to know that.
Oh
I'm really
yeah, I'm
uptight.
definitely
Not a lot, but enough.
definitely
I was
happy.
raised really conservative.
Yeah,
I've come a long way. I had.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the good. Anybody else want to add any additions to the good that we've learned from experiencing, and sharing our lives with other
It's
humans?
good that we. Let me think
I
about
enjoy
that
the
for a
adventure,
second.
really, I'll say, out of like, because initially during a courtship, you build a friendship. And I realized from being like a closed individual, there's a lot of things, because I'm a little scary, that I myself would not have pursued independently. So from dating or falling in love, I've learned how to skate. I've learned how to shoot. I've got stamps on my passport. I've tasted new foods. I've traveled. I have went to different community events. I've met different friends, just from interacting with other people. So I feel like that's always a good, because innately, I'm
The
a little more
experiences.
cloistered. So to
Yeah.
build a relationship, a friendship, a partnership, you kind of, you expand your community. Like, I have relationships that have severed, but I've been able to maintain family that wasn't mine, that is now mine, no matter what happened of that relationship. I feel like that's a good,
Yeah.
I think it's the experiences. I know, like, I've been able to share some of my experiences that I didn't even think were so significant to me, like, or a major for me with my partner, and it kind of like changed the way they view some things. Like, you know what I mean? Like the influence I had on my partner in my relationship.
What you mean? What you talking about? That was real vague.
He said, "What you mean?"
What would you mean?
Like, I mean, my partner, like.
Right.
You
Yes,
only
I know
ate
her
2
partner.
types of vegetables.
Yes,
so
that's
it's
true.
like there's more vegetables. They exist. Like doing things like traveling to the beach, like a change of scenery, like just doing and experiencing different things that they didn't really necessarily feel like were like was for him, or you know what I mean?
You got to teach some things and gain some things.
Like that.
I get it.
The reciprocity of the relationship.
In courtships,
That's
I've
good.
introduced people to new fruits and vegetables that they didn't know exist. There was actually one of my former relationships where we actually took adventures to Chinatown to go find exotic fruits and vegetables that we did not know the names of, so that we could go taste them or figure out how they were to be cooked. And that was, in fact, one of the most exciting and adventurous, cheap experiences of a relationship, where it's like, yeah, I thought my favorite fruit was a raspberry, but now I know that it's a mangosteen. Which is hard to find, so that was like great. So yes, those are the goods. Again, we I'm gonna kind of switch gears because I feel like we labeled all of the goods.
Yeah,
I think this has been
a lot of the
a
goods.
complex discussion, even to record this. So
Yeah.
the next phase of this, ladies, are you ready?
Oh my.
Is the bads. I'm gonna lean into this one and kind of lead.
The bad.
So again, I said I have a short list. I want to keep that. It's not a long list of humans that, you know, get to interact with me. It's a short list.
She is silly.
But really, this is a short list. You concur?
I concur.
Yeah.
She's known me since kindergarten. That's what we want to say. So it's been a short list. But out of the short list of humans that have had the pleasure of enjoying my space and time, you know, they're out of the collective. The bad things that I've experienced. I've been in verbally abusive relationships, physically abusive relationships. I've had inconsistent people. I've had people who lied. I have had people who cheated. I have had people who were just wholeheartedly dishonest. Might have had a couple of thieves on the low mixed in.
We wouldn't know because they were good at it.
Right. But yeah, they were right. So, you know, I do feel like embracing this different phase of 30 and being able to discuss it in a more open forum has been, you know, great, because I realized at some point you're burdened by the relationship. Like, oh my God, this is happening. Or when you're in the moment, you don't realize how bad it is because you're like, oh no, this is just the norm.
Yeah.
You know, and it isn't until you come out of the relationship and have the time to reflect on it. Like, that's really sucked. But yeah, I've like left relationships and been broke and a half step from homeless with no cell phone. It was a real thing that happened that one time.
Yeah.
It was.
So, I mean, like,
It really did.
I've had a few little similar experiences. I'm not going to disclose when, where, and who. or what. Like, we're just going to keep it there. But
I mean, if you want the details of it, you can write a comment below and we can have a one-on-one interaction. But you have to swear on the dotted line in blood that you will never
maybe with
repeat
her, not
the
with
things that you ever heard. Okay?
We
might add you onto a John.
You a trip.
You got to sign in blood. It's true.
There has been some things that truly like challenged my spirit in relationship, but I mean, looking back now at it, like I just knew at that point, and by that point I mean every single time that there was something going on, and I felt devastated that I was going to die. Like obviously it wasn't true. I did die.
You do be feeling like you're gonna die.
But yeah, like I feel like some of the things were obviously really, really toxic and very unhealthy, but on the other side of it, being able to come out of it and know that bad things can happen and you can overcome them, or like they kind of felt necessary though, because they pushed me to make some changes that I felt like even with the gentle nudges I was getting from the universe or from my friends, family, and whoever else, it just wasn't working. Like, you know, I'm a little hard-headed, and I feel like it's not until
we lead with love.
Yeah, like I feel like some of the major changes that I made to my personal self didn't really happen until some of the hard things pushed me to. I do feel like sometimes still I could have done without some of those experiences.
Right.
Some of the experiences.
Right, yeah. I hear that.
But
Thankful for all of mine.
I could have did without
I don't know. I feel like I could have did without some of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get how they like help you, but I'm just like, dude, if I could do it all over again, you would not be in this shit.
Really?
Nope.
I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't think I would undo any of them, because
Really?
I feel like from the beginning, my first like love, it was like, oh, I love you so much, and you know, this is gonna be happily ever after. And then, you know, I was devastated when things ended. You know, it's like the next one, oh, I love you so much, it's gonna be perfect. You know, you are the one. And then it didn't work out. But I'll say that within each one of those scenarios, like I won't list them in order, but that's used the example of one relationship that was toxic and verbally, you know, the person was verbally abusive. It's like I remember there was a point when I was like, yeah, I love him, I'm gonna try and be patient, and you know, he would get frustrated and like, you don't love me. And then we cohabitate. So he was like, get out. And they're like, okay, we cohabitate. We live together. And then I had to like leave, you know, with my tail between my legs and like go back to my mom's house several times. Don't roll your eyes. It's okay. We're having a moment. It's okay.
I'm just
but yeah,
reflecting.
but I'm thankful, honestly, for that experience. And I would not take it away, because I don't fault him as a human. I don't feel any type of way from it. If anything, looking at it from the other side, it taught me that I never want to be in a position again where anybody can tell me, get out. And I, A, don't have a place to go, or B, you know, don't have a place to go, you know, or the financial ability to kind of just say, all right, peace. It's been real, you know. So that taught me a different level of maturity and a different level of accountability that I had to hold for myself. Because I can't, one, pour my everything into a person and then be left without.
Yeah.
You know, so I thank him for that lesson.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, the others, I mean, even in the relationship that had a physical element, or relationships, question mark, you know, they might have had a physical element. It's like, as horrible as that situation was, I forgive you. You know, and I also learned that even though I had been in friendships where those situations came to me, you know, where it's like, hey sis, can I talk to you for a minute? This is what's happening in my relationship. This is what's happening in my family. Or this is what's happening with my partner. I always provided a listening ear, but I always kind of felt like that could never be me. You know, and there was a different layer of judgment that also goes with it. Like, sis, how could you even be in a situation like that? Or how could you still deal with that person after that happened?
And
but to be there, physically in it, and to still love the person, you know, and still try to work on a relationship, even though that aspect is toxic. I thank you for the lesson. You know, because now I have a different level of perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. I know how you feel. Been there, done that. Probably should have done a little different. But I won't necessarily say that I wish to remove that from my life experience.
I don't think I've reached that plateau yet. Like, I'm still, you
know. 2020 has been an interesting year, sis. I've been working on my healing.
I'm still trying to manifest a magical something where I can go back in time and just we're going to edit that.
I need you to cut that one out, right? There to there. Thanks. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't know. I'm just saying that's me. I do get how some of the lessons were necessary, but I'm just like, yeah.
Because if I look at myself,
we couldn't have learned this any other way.
Any other way?
I don't think so. Because I mean, if I look at myself, like I first started dating at like 17, 18, and I feel like that level of like naivety, even though I started with a good start, like my friends have been dating for years, you know, I'm relatively like mature and established as an individual, and most of my other friends that I associated with were responsible adults, and I had friends who were older than me, who had been going through the layers of emotional discourse. So I had the knowledge from them, but I still didn't have the ability to navigate that.
I was going in blind. It was a shit show from jump. I'm gonna tell you that.
You know,
I'm just like a hopeless romantic. I just like want to be mushy, gushy, ushy all minutes of the day, and that's it. Life will be good. Yeah, it'll be good.
Any bads?
Bads? I mean, yeah. Did you say your bads?
She kind of in a big way. She did. I don't think she's ready yet.
Okay. I guess my bads.
I'm being all the way wrong.
What do you mean by bads? Like.
So I guess some of the heavier lessons.
Some of the heavier lessons.
Relating
yes. Well done.
With other humans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think some of the bads. I guess what it was like coming to mind is that some shit just don't work. Some shit just don't work, and you just gotta let it go. It's just not good for your soul, and you just need to walk away. You got what you needed from that person, and you just need to walk away. That's the bad. But sometimes it takes long as shit to come to that realization.
That's true.
And I think that's the bad part about I wouldn't even say bad, but the hard part about it is you gotta truck through some crazy shit to come to that realization that, like, you know what? I can do better than this, and I need to walk away. Because you know what I mean? Because sometimes relationships can make you feel like that you're not enough, and you need to change all these types of things about yourself to be what this person needs. And it's like, all you need is like, you are enough. Like, you being you, and if they can't take you as that, then they're not the person for you. Because you should be able to blossom individually and love that flower blossoming together. So, I don't know, and make a little baby flowers.
Oh, God. That's, it's funny that you say that, because I agree. The hardest part in a toxic relationship, or a relationship that's not as good, I feel like we're trying really hard not to say bad, because, you know, we're speaking affirmations of positivity. Right. But a tumultuous relationship, the hard part is really saying, okay, this is no longer good. So I feel like I have learned with time to not necessarily create a cutoff, but to know that I've done, like, my like tap out is I literally pour everything into the relationship. I pour everything into it. When it's getting to the point where it's extremely tumultuous, I pour more into it. so that when I end it, or that when it's ended, I know that I did everything that I could. So that when I reflect on it, it's like, no, as horrible as I feel, I know that I did everything that I could. It wasn't your fault, sis. So that when it's over, I don't really have that layer of guilt that comes with
like
it.
the what ifs, like what if I
Yeah, like what if I would have? Nope,
Yeah.
I literally check all of those boxes. There's certain things that I won't do, but I literally check all of the boxes. Like, okay,
I don't even have with what ifs.
relationships going bad. Okay, we're gonna talk more. We're gonna.
I have
talk
thank
more on
God.
Sundays. Really?
Thank
Yeah.
God.
Thank God that shit's over.
Oh,
I don't have
fine.
anybody that I'll be like, what if that would have worked out? Fuck no, bye. I'm so grateful that I'm with who I'm with.
Oh,
Yeah.
fine.
Thank you.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you've undertoned some. Yes, I had to get rid of you.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
some people just need to go because it's just not work. Like, if you can't shine and just be like bright and shit around your partner and they enjoy that, you being yourself it's not worth it.
Take it.
Yeah.
Any additions?
So,
That's it for me, I think.
All right. Well,
what would be the takeaways?
The takeaways, yeah.
I feel like we sprinkled a little bit of takeaways
Yeah.
in the midst. Takeaway is that I'm learning.
Major takeaways.
What I'm learning is, because we were talking about this before this session started, and I realized that
I think we talk about this
a
a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
What?
The
The
takeaways.
takeaways. It's
Oh,
we reflect.
sorry.
It's like I realized one, I've been raised on princess movies. You know, me and Zing have talked, and she's been raised on what's that show?
What show?
You always just watch it. The whatever channel it is.
I watch a lot of shit.
Lifetime. So
There you go.
she was in the
Oh,
Lifetime
man.
movie channel, right?
That's like the
And-
worst channel.
Yes, and and I was raised on princess
That's some
movies.
good stuff, but it's
And
horrible at the same
as a
time.
collective, my view as far as like what relationships look like is based on a layer of illusion, you know. And I'm learning that TV relationships, even relationships that are on Instagram or like in the social media world, there's always what happens behind the scenes that you never get to see. You know, and learning to understand that everything that looks good isn't always good, you know, is the lesson for myself.
And the stuff that does look good, like that, we don't
really know
usually get
what's
to see
going on
what
behind the scenes. You don't.
with the
Or
work
with
is.
the
What
work
it took
is.
to get to that point.
And
Right.
to
Yeah.
get to that point, to keep it at that point.
Yeah.
Right. So that part
You know
I'm
what I
learning, and learning how to set a standard for myself, because I do know that there's a certain type of partner that I'm interested in. I want a person who's intelligent, I want a person who is driven, I want a person who's financially mature. You know, I like beards. You know, there's like the
Yeah.
you know, there's like grounded. You know, fill in the blanks, alpha. You know, but so there's a list. But I'm also learning to have those same level of standards and hard stops of what I will and will not accept. You know, I feel like I was a little bit more understanding. I am extremely understanding. But I'm learning how to say, no, I'm not doing this. You know, that's been the growth process, the takeaway.
I mean,
How to love me more in certain scenarios.
I would say, reflecting back on the good and the bad of navigating relationships from the beginning of being in relationships. I would say that I realized that the biggest takeaway I had from doing all that thinking is that I always have to keep myself right no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
To be caught off guard when you're not right in some shit with somebody else that's not right is a crazy place. The signs are blank. The arrows don't point you in the right direction.
Right.
So I have learned to not to try not to pour from an empty cup. That's something that actually one of my sisters has been saying to me for a while. And for some reason I could not hear it. I understand her words intellectually, but I couldn't hear it, and it was some of those not so good times that I realized, like, all right, I do have to like pour into myself. I had to build myself up, make sure I'm the best version of me for myself, to be able to like to do this, like to be able to get back to a good place with my partner, or end it if that's what it needs be, and just not lose myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
I'm not crying. I'm not crying or anything.
Oh.
Or thinking.
There was oh. I felt that. Oh. Yes.
What about you? You have any major takeaways from?
Don't cry, Files. I know she initially.
Oh, shut up! I'm not gonna cry. I guess my takeaway is kind of branching off of that about the like taking care of yourself, but I'm realizing how much like how you think about a situation affects it. Because if you just think like good thoughts about your relationship, it'll be a good relationship. I don't know. I'm realizing how much
power of manifestation.
Yeah, like you can manifest what you want, and anywhere in your life and in your relationship. And I'm just realizing how much negative thoughts can weigh on your relationship from like, you know what I mean? Like it's, and I think taking care of yourself by like meditating, and like journaling. And if you need having a therapist, I think everybody should have a therapist.
I feel like it should be mandatory
at some point.
if you're going to be with somebody else, everybody needs a therapist.
Not even if you're not going, like even if you're not with somebody else, you might need you probably need a therapist.
Hashtag you need a therapist.
Yeah. So having one of those, and if you can't, like if there's some reason you can't get that, having a close friend that you can talk to and just kind of get this stuff out
and bounce things off.
Yeah, it's good to get it out. And you know, being healthy, taking care of yourself. It's all about you.
Yeah.
You just gotta be the best person you can
like
be, so that y'all can just be shining together, glistening down the street and shit.
Yes, I want to hashtag pinpoint, set a branch off of both the trees that you both have planted and agree. I feel like in a relationship, outside of a relationship, growing past, you know, a breakup or growing into a partnership, definitely creating sacred space for yourself is important. Because often, even in the beginning, warm and fuzzy point, you're so in love and excited about the partnership that you literally fold into each other, you know. But learning how to be a solid branch or a solid column, you know, in a home that you're building together, made out of love is important. Yeah. So, you know, saying, hey, boo, you know, take a day for yourself, and spending that same day by yourself, taking a bath, journaling, talking to your stones, lighting some sage, you know, even spending time with your circle of friends so that you can come back refreshed and renewed into the relationship. Yeah. You know, or also the takeaway, learning in my relationships that, yes, you also mentioned, you know, we as ourselves are emotional beings, and your perspective and view on how you see the relationship might be different than your partner. You might be weighed down and think, oh my God, they don't love me. And they might just be tired. They might genuinely just be tired and need a sandwich.
What was that meme you sent me? The girl was like, Dave, I was just calling because the way you put your shoes on this morning was you seemed very mad, and I like just want to make sure I want to see if you still love me, and can you bring me home some brownies? Yeah.
So it's true, like learning that your perception and your view of your partner might not even be all the way true. It might just be your own emotions weighing on you. Yeah. So creating space for yourself to unpack things, and I know that it becomes a little bit more challenging once you have little people in the equation, or once you add in work, school, and the balance of that. But I feel like, yes, creating sacred space for yourself is essential. Yeah. Whether you're like looking to manifest a relationship or whether you're in one.
I feel like that will have a segue into like...
Yeah, we're going to talk to you about the things that we actually do to balance out.
To balance that out,
how we stay positive. Look forward to the next episode. Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it for me. I think that was good.
I mean, I feel like we could touch a little bit more on communication. I mean, that's something I often think about when I reflect on.
Definitely.
That's a very important part of the relationship.
Vulnerable communication.
Yeah.
Being naked.
And creating safe space where that's okay. I agree. Because there's times when I've been like in a situation where it's like, you did something that hurt me, but I don't want you to know that you hurt me, and I don't want to look like I'm hurt, so I'm going to pretend like I'm okay.
And it doesn't serve you in the end. Yeah. Or your partner, and it just makes things like harder than they have to be. I feel like, I mean, a hard conversation is hard itself, but it's not harder than not having a hard conversation and letting that shit linger.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
And being able to say it in a healthy way. Because sometimes when you might feel some type of way and then you don't say it nice or healthy or like that they can take it in, and then it just gets lost in translation, and then it never gets solved or resolved.
So I feel like even now in my currently. I feel like we always have to like work on our communication.
Mm-hmm.
We always have to put time and energy into that because the way we communicated pre-children
Right.
is different.
Because we're both growing into like who
From
we're
now,
going to be. We keep changing,
All
and we
the
got to
time.
kind of
It's like we
like
have to
keep.
recalibrate
Yes.
how we communicate.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like communicating is one, and also learning when communication works. Because
What do you mean?
Because okay, as women, as my friends,
I
Sister
mean-
Jawns, we always want to talk.
All the
Hey
time.
sis,
Yes.
it's 5 a.m., it's 2 a.m., it's 2 p.m., it's 3, I just took a poop, I'm in the shower, you still want to talk? We don't care. But one thing that I've learned about having partnerships and a mate is like there are times when men enjoy silence. You just came
Like-
home, you just took off your shoes, all you want to do is sit down and be present. You don't want anybody to ask you any questions for at least 15 minutes. But us being
And that's
overjoyed by
hard.
the presence of them, it's like, oh my God, you're here. I
Hey,
can't wait to
peace
ask
home.
you questions. We're waiting all day to communicate. Like let's communicate. But sometimes just like learning like when is the proper time has been a lesson.
Like
in that
sometimes
for me.
I wish he could just like post his office hours. Like when can I come and
Yeah.
talk to you about this? Because like you said,
Can
you
we
always,
have like text time check-ins?
right or
It's
something
time
like
check in. How you doing, babe? How's your day?
Creating space for that too. I used to do that over dinner.
that. Yeah.
Like dinner was sacred time.
I mean, yeah, and I mean for us and our family, it gets kind of hard because sometimes the schedule changes. And it's only half of my family there at dinner. Like we still discuss things at dinner, but sometimes my partner isn't there at dinner.
Dig it. I think that was a good point that we touched on. So I'm going to say thanks for listening. Thanks for
Yeah.
following.
Yeah.
If you have more questions about how we deal with communication, self-growth, relationships, if you want to know the true behind-the-scenes stories of this, have some questions. Maybe we'll answer them. If not, you can you can find us on
That's a
social
strong
media.
maybe for me.
And let us know like what other
Yeah, what
videos
things
you
you
want
wanna
to see.
know.
Like what do you want to know?
Yeah,
Like
'cause
what's
we-
some questions?
Yeah, we realize you as our audience might span from several age groups, but for our little sisters, as you're navigating this life, love, and relationships, we want to be able to teach you and show you our journey. If you're
Tell
on
you
our
things
same
that
age group,
people
sis, we're here
didn't
for you.
tell us.
We're here for you. If you're in this age group and you're like, yeah, I understand.
Yes.
We understand, but it gets better, we think.
Hope so.
So we're here for you. So we're gonna close with the same affirmation in the same sequence. Ready?
Okay.
Power breath. I ask the universe.
To strengthen the love I have for myself.
So that I can be a better partner to others.
I am a powerful Jawn.
Thanks, guys. Like,
Bye.
subscribe, comment below.